I want to talk about this because as a comic fan, this stuff irks me to no end. There's this YouTube channel called Ranting For Vengeance who's a big comic fan. At least he says he's a big comic fan, but a lot of his takes aren't even that, oh, it's just that his opinion is so wrong that he sucks, or you just disagreeing with his opinion. It's that his opinions come off as so racist and even homophobic that you really can't even be with the guy, even when he has some hot takes that are actually decent enough. I mean, I first heard of him when he made this video about the new comic Absolute Batman. Now, Absolute Batman takes place in a completely different universe. They wanted to change the character up a little bit, and things were changed. And, you know, he kind of took to saying that the character itself didn't resemble Batman, that he was some kind of, like, woke cuck in this universe, and that they showed one little scene of Barbara Gordon, who was race swapped in this case, which to that I say, who cares? One, it was only one comic panel that she was in, and two, we're acting like this hasn't happened already, considering in The Batman, Jim Gordon is played by Jeffrey Wright, who is a person of color, and in the recent Batman animated series that came out, Caped Crusader, Jim Gordon and Barbara Gordon are also African American. It's just, I hate that people do this with fictional characters, like, oh, they were drawn white, so that's how they have to be. They can't be any different than they are. No, it's not something that's like an historical thing. It would be one thing if, like, in, say, the movie 42 about Jackie Robinson, instead of Chadwick Boseman playing Jackie Robinson, they casted some white actor like, I don't know, Chris Pratt. I'm not saying that out of disrespect, I'm just saying because of the whole Mario thing, it was the first thing that popped into my head. That would be extremely racist because you would have Chris Pratt doing blackface, and two, it would be historically inaccurate because, well, we all know for a fact that Jackie Robinson was a person of color, and he was the first player in MLB history to play in a game that was a person of color. But with comic books, it's nothing historically accurate. The characters can change, and heck, even with Marvel exploring the multiverse, we know that in every comic universe, whether it be Marvel, DC, or something else, there's different universes out there where things are different, and plus, it makes for more interesting stories, different takes on certain characters. Yes, you have your definite origins of, like, this is the original character, but that doesn't mean they can't change things up and, you know, make it a little bit different. I mean, he also recently talked about the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, which I think it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good. It takes place in the 60s, and I believe this is actually not going to be in the MCU. This is kind of like Marvel's version of the Elseworlds that DC has been doing since James Gunn took over. And to be honest with you, this is the most excited I've been for a Fantastic Four movie probably since the first one that came out in 2005, even though that one wasn't great and the Rise of the Silver Surfer was meh. But the one in 2015 I knew was going to fail from the get-go just because I know how that stuff works. But with this, it seems like Marvel is actually willing to just go and make a decent Fantastic Four movie without giving us the origin of how they got their powers. Like, it's called First Steps because it is the first steps towards them being the Fantastic Four. But everything's just so interesting about this movie, and one of the complaints that he had, other than, you know, stuff like, oh, people are saying it's comic accurate when it's really not, which, I don't know, say what you want about it. I think it's pretty cool that the suits are more comic accurate, the thing looks comic accurate, but he was complaining that Pedro Pascal Daddy was playing Mr. Fantastic, which that's basically been a thing for about a year and a half. We've known that. It was, like, rumored, and then it was basically toward the end of, I believe, 2023 confirmed that he was going to be Mr. Fantastic in this upcoming Fantastic Four film. So seeing him in this trailer is not surprising. We knew that was going to happen. But he kept saying that Reed Richards, who is Mr. Fantastic, is a white American man, and he's being played by a Mexican man, which, fact check, Pedro Pascal is not of Mexican descent. He is of Chilean descent. He is a Chilean American. So I don't know where you're getting Mexican from. I mean, heck, Ranting for Vengeance even makes a joke at the end of, like, what's Pedro Pascal going to do in this movie? Is he good at cleaning?
Pedro Pascal is playing Mr. Fantastic. I just want to ask, what's he really fantastic at? cleaning houses or jumping over the border.
Kind of, making it like, all Mexicans are maids and slaves and this kind of stuff. And I just go, you're completely missing the point overall as to why people are excited for this movie. And I like Pedro Pascal. He's a very cool human being. And he's been in some stuff where, yes, he's done some goofy acting stuff, but he's still pretty good. He's entertaining. He keeps you in it all the way through, and I'm very intrigued to see how he does as Mr. Fantastic, because then he said, if they really wanted to be, accurate with it, like they did, because I think the director of this movie, the Fantastic Four movie, is Jewish, and of course the Thing has always been Jewish in the comics, so they casted a actor who is actually Jewish to play the role, and then he went, so why is Reed Richards playing someone who is Mexican? Again, not Mexican, but the fact, too, that he titled the video Fantastic Four First Steps is total garbage. How do you know? The movie's not out. I think it doesn't come out till June, so, how can you call it garbage just from, what? I don't even think the trailer was even that long. Let me check. Yeah, how can you say it was garbage when the trailer is only a minute and a half long? The movie itself, knowing Marvel, is probably over 2 hours, so I don't know about you, but before I judge it from the trailer, I'm gonna go see the movie and then judge it from there, and I know my main complaint won't be, Pedro Pascal's playing Reed Richards when Reed Richards is a white man. No, I want an interesting story. I just want a movie that's going to live up to the Fantastic Four name. I could care less about who's playing who, so long as they do a good job at, being able to bring that character to life. And even if it's a little bit different, so what? It's a comic book character that is being brought to life, live action, and they can do it whichever way they want. They don't have to be fully comic accurate with it. They just need to make an interesting story that details the Fantastic Four and who they are. And I just think that this guy, I don't know if he truly believes what he says, if he's truly racist, homophobic, and all this kind of stuff, because everything to him is woke, especially stuff that involves, again, the race swapping or gender swapping, because that's another thing he mentioned too, was that the Silver Surfer being gender swapped, and I mean, that's kind of true in itself, but at the same point in time, there is a Fantastic Four universe where the Silver Surfer is a woman, so again, that's nothing new, that's in the comics, so hey, based on your opinion, if it's in the comics, then it's fine. Well, guess what? Silver Surfer being a woman is in the comics in a different universe, sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're in the main universe where we would see the full comic accurate Fantastic Four. That just means this is what's going down, these are the characters that are going to be in there, and this is what it's going to be like in this universe in particular. Some of his titles are so predictable that I can just predict what he's going to say by reading it. I miss the old Wolverine. What is he going to say, that this new Wolverine's a little bit more of a pansy because he has more of a heart than he did, which he's always kind of had a heart. He's just been more, I guess you can say, angry and whatnot, but his backstory is definitely one that is dark, and a character like that can only be super dark for so long before you need to kind of lighten things up a bit. Or this one, the Penguin and fake comic book fans. Is he going to say something about how the Penguin isn't comic accurate and it's trying so hard to be too woman empowering because of, Falcone's daughter, Sophia, in this one kind of rising up and taking charge? Is that what we're going to do here? Because, frankly, with the way his videos go, that seems to be the direction. Or what about this one? Why the woke Green Lantern casting is a disaster, and then it's a picture of, I'm assuming it's the guy that's playing Green Lantern, and then he put not black enough in the thumbnail. I don't know if he knows this, but there's a Green Lantern named John Stewart who is black. That's the one that I grew up with in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. I didn't even know about the original Green Lantern until the Ryan Reynolds movie came out. So, I don't know, that's just me, but I know he's gonna probably be like, either this guy's just not fit to play John Stewart, or he just doesn't know that a black Green Lantern exists somewhere because it gets passed down generation to generation, the ring that Green Lantern ends up wielding. So, I don't know. All in all, I don't want you to go to Ranting For Vengeance channel and send hate. Maybe go watch some of this stuff to kind of understand what I'm saying and what other people are saying, because I'm not the only one that's made a video on this guy. But I just wanted to talk about this because these are the types of comic fans that make this kind of thing so toxic, and is the reason why people make fun of people who like comic books, is because when you take it too seriously like this, it is just outrageous to me. And the fact that you get this so bent out of shape over fictional characters. It just, I don't understand it. I never understand it. The reason why I hate some of the comics or some of the superhero movies that I've seen or read aren't because of certain gender swaps or race swaps or, you know, they made this character gay or whatever. I don't think any of that. It's just maybe the story hasn't interested me enough to keep me, you know, wanting to read on or watch the next movie that comes out in the trilogy because the story they're starting with it isn't interesting enough. Like, that's the reason why I don't end up liking certain comic book things. But this guy, again, I don't know if he's just saying this because he knows it's going to get him attention or if this is what he truly thinks, but I can tell you it's the wrong way to think because he has his opinion. He can not like what he doesn't like and like what he likes, but at the same point in time, when you're using race and sexuality and gender swapping as the main reason that you don't like whatever, then it just shows the kind of bigoted hater that you actually are, and you don't even either get what's going on or you're just not fully paying attention to the story in itself and understanding that it's in a different universe and it is allowed to be different because comic book characters are not real. It is okay for them to have different stories in different universes to make things more interesting. That way you're not reading the same thing over and over and over again. But that's just my thoughts. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think? But again, do not go to this guy's channel and send hate. I just wanted to kind of call him out myself and talk about this topic a little more. And until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.